Hey everybody, it is I, Wushak, again with another video for you today. Instead of a basic informational video or a tier ranking like my previous videos, today I want to go over a familiar that I've been farming for a very long time as a free-to-play player, and I'm hoping to make him today, and I'm really excited to share that with you. So without further ado, let's get started. Before I can talk about the familiar that I'm gonna be making, I need to talk about why I'm making him. And the reason is Lurky, by and far the best DPS in the game, 17.2% of his stats into health, 26.7 into strength, and the rest all into speed, so he's a very speedy boy. He procs shock onto all of the enemies all the time, and you trigger EMPs a ton. He has innate 10% electric damage bonus, 15% empower chance, 15% dual strike, and also bolster 5, which means anytime he hits an enemy, he will spread shield for 5%. So he already has like a built-in, really weak defensive brain, so you can load offense onto him without any issue at all. But there is a problem with him, and that problem is glarstos. One of the best baits in the game. He's super cheap to make, easy to farm for. He's got 25% damage reduction, 2.5% absorb chance just already built in. You can get near damage reduction capped very easily. He's got a heal self, he has a shield team. Like, he's overpowered. But 17.4% of his stats go directly into stamina, which puts him above that of Lurky. With a bait familiar, you want them to be the lowest stamina on the team because any attack weakest should go to them and not your DPS, which can get killed easily. So you cannot use glarstos as a bait if you use Lurky. So now we enter Thundmoth, a mythic bait familiar with 15% of his stats going into stamina, so he will be below Lurky, 76.2% into attack, and 8% into speed. So he's not completely min-maxed on the speed there, but he is great for Lurky. One thing about him that you'll notice is fairly similar to glarstos, but just better, is he does have an innate 20% electric resistance, which is less than the damage reduction of glarstos, but he makes up for it by having 15% absorb instead of 2.5%. So 15% of the times he gets hit, he can proc absorb, which will absorb all of the damage and turn it directly into shields. His skills are a little bit more offensive focused, but I think it's still going to be good. He, at 0 SP, has a damage closest to plus shock, which will synergize really well with Lurky. He also, at 0 SP, can shield and heal himself. 1 SP, he can drain the target, healing himself twice. He can also heal the entire team and give Fury. At 2 SP, he can damage random and shock twice, which will also synergize with Lurky. And then the same thing at the 3 SP, except it'll damage the weakest and shock 3 times, proccing an EMP right there by himself. Now before I fuse him, I want to go over everything that's required to make one of them, because it's not just going to be a single fusion. You're going to have fusions that go into fusions. For common familiars, you need 1 Uggs, which is found in Zone 4, Dungeon 1. For rare familiars, you need 1 LL from Zone 10, Dungeon 3. Then you get to the epic familiars, and there's a lot of them. For dungeon epic familiars, you need 3 Bruagyas from Zone 11, Dungeon 2, 3 Heffia from Zone 15, Dungeon 1, 3 Bruagyas from Zone 15, Dungeon 2. And there's even more! From the raids, you need 1 Jack from Raid 3, 1 Gala from Raid 7, 1 Fulton from Raid 13, and then 1 Thundermoth from Raid 13. Now he's the boss, so he takes forever to get because he's legendary instead of epic. Also, to make these fusions, you'll need 10 Coraliners found in Titan's World Boss, and 150 Thunderclouds found in Raid 13. You will very likely get all of the ones you need while you're getting a Thundermoth. So let's go ahead and start here. I'm going to go ahead and go into fusions. And at the bottom here, you'll type in Thundmolf, or Thund will pull him directly up. At the very top, you'll see Thundermoth himself needs Thundermoth, Jaclyn, Heffia, and Bruagya. Now 3 of those are going to be fusions that you have to make prior to seeing them, as opposed to Grimolf just being directly there. So let's go ahead and search for Jaclyn first. This is a pretty crazy good DPS, to be honest with you. Uses Fulton, Jack, and then Thunderclouds. So we'll go ahead and start fusing those. So going over Jaclyn while I'm fusing those in the background there, he's a really good DPS, kind of rivals Penguita or even better than Penguin in a lot of situations. Comes based off with water damage, 10% dual strike, and then 2.5% quad strike. He's got 17.7% of his stats into stamina, so most baits can bait for him. And then he's got a 0 SP that damages closest 3, 2 1 SP attacks, one damages a random and freezes twice, and then the other one damages the weakest and strongest. The 2 SP gives damage closest 3 plus freeze, and then the 3 SP is oxidize plus the damage the target 2 times. So he's a pretty strong DPS with a lot of multi-hits and can also freeze as well. Pairs extremely well with the Hector set. Alright, and there's our last Jaclyn. So next we need to make Heffia. So go ahead and put her name in, see what we can come up with. Heffia takes some Hayfist and also Hestia. So Hestia is an epic familiar that you have to fuse. So go ahead and search her out here. That takes 1 Gala, 1 LL, and 1 Uggs, and 10 Coraliner. This is where the Coraliner actually comes in. None of the other familiars require Coraliner. And Hestia is a pretty decent-ish epic tank, and there's a lot of better options, but built-in 10% water resistance and 7.5% absorb, and not crazy expensive in the grand scheme of things, because she is going to eventually go into Thundmoth, but by herself I wouldn't recommend making her, personally. If you're gonna go for Thundermoth, it's fine to make her a little bit early. Alright, so we made all of our Hestias. Let's go up here and go back to Heffia. We'll search her out. Heffia needs our 3 Hayfists and then our Hestias and Thunderclouds. So we'll go ahead and fuse her. Now, this familiar is kind of interesting. She's a support healer, just barely more stamina than glarstos, but there's a lot of shielding and healing, and 25.4% of her stats goes straight into speed, so she'll be doing a lot of healing. And every time you heal using Heffia, there's a 25% chance to cleanse. That's really similar to the old Perkunas set, and so that might be something you want to look at, but in general isn't going to be something you're going to actually farm for unless you're going specifically for Thundermoth. Alright, there's all 7 of those. So the next familiar that we're going to go for is Bruagya. They take 3 Bagabayas, 3 Truagos, and 50 Thunderclouds. This guy is expensive. They're all dungeon epics, but that's a lot. Not near as expensive as some other ones, but he is there. He's a tank. 7% of his stats go into speed, but 43.6 go into stamina. He's got built-in fire resistance, built-in physical damage reduction, and 5% deflect. So if you're gonna try and build into a deflect familiar, yeah, Hilarious is gonna be a better option. Just to be honest with you, I think Jello is a better option. But again, if you're building into Thundmoth, this is a good option. If you're gonna make 7 of them though, you do have to use 3 of each of the dungeon epics, so it does get very pricey, so you'll have to have 21 of each total. And then finally, the moment of truth. 7 Grimoth, 7 Jaclyn, 7 Heffia, 7 Bruagya. I can now make 7 Thundmoth. Free to play, no money spent on them. Took me forever. I had to stack up gems, use a Capcore that I got in a contest to get my Grimoths, but I made him. He's right here. And with 7 of them, I can fully stable him plus 5. And have 2 of them out there. One of the more common techniques is a glarstos sandwich. I can use a Thundermoth sandwich. Use him with Lurky and I will have an entirely mythic team. I'm so pumped about this. Thank you guys so much for sitting through this, listening about the familiars that go into him, what I think of each one, and I really can't thank you guys enough for listening in on this. It's been a very long and arduous process. I think I was target farming him for 6 or 7 months maybe. It was, especially getting all of the raid epics. Luckily I already had quite a few to start with, so I didn't have to go too far into it. But yeah, I got him. I got him. Yeah, I got him! So look at that. Fully stable, got 2 of them, another mythic familiar in the bag. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to go for next, probably some sort of support. I don't know if I have the patience to go for Lady Sparkin, but that's probably where I'm going to head. But tell me what you guys think about Thundermoth. Was it a waste of my energy, waste of my materials, waste of my resources? Is he amazing? Do you think he synergizes super well with Lurky? Do you think that the synergy with Lurky is worth it to have farmed him as opposed to another bait that would work, such as Grundy? Or maybe I should have just stuck with a Lattice the whole time. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, like and subscribe to my channel, and until next time, may RNG forever be in your favor.